Coming up on Locked On NBA Daily. Is the NBA putting pressure on LeBron to make his decision soon? And will it matter? Plus, we draft the best number one picks of the last 10 years, and we take a closer look at Boston's revamped rotation. Locked On NBA Daily starts now.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to Locked On NBA Daily. I'm Wes Goldberg, joined here today by the Bulls boys, Haize, Pat the designer. Today's episode is brought to you by Odoo. Great organizations win because operations matter. That's why you should get Odoo. Try for free today at odoo.com/lockedon. That's odoo.com/lockedon. Got a fun show for you all today. We're going to draft the best number one picks in the last 10 years and then break down the Celtics rotation in a second. But let's start with the latest on LeBron James. Yesterday, Rich Paul said on his podcast that there is no timeline for LeBron's decision and even made it sound like LeBron might not even know what he wants to do yet. Adam Silver said publicly last week that the league is waiting for LeBron to make a free agency decision before they can release the schedule. Other teams and players are holding off on their business until LeBron signs. It does not sound like LeBron is feeling the pressure, though, from everybody else. But Haize, should he?
No, you're 41 years old. Everybody's waiting on you to do your thing. One thing that people will find, you can't rush old people. So LeBron should take as much time as he possibly wants and just see what's the NBA going to do. What are they going to do? They're going to go ahead and make the schedule without you? No, take as much time as you need. Make sure you make the right decision. I'm going to be an agent of chaos on this topic. Take as much time as you need.
Listen, I love it. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, to me, when I look at this, I almost feel like it's LeBron going, hey, y'all know y'all can move on without me, right? Like, go do your stuff. I'm going to make my decision when I make my decision. Y'all go ahead. I'll catch up. And I'm okay with that because I think it's time for the NBA. Listen, I know we want to do the final goodbye, but it is time for the NBA to finally start preparing for a world that doesn't include guys like LeBron James, those former faces of the league, even though I think LeBron still has a great case to be the face of the league, but those guys that are clearly moving on and you haven't figured out who the next guy is going to be. I think this is a great opportunity for you to kind of do that with the NBA through scheduling and things like that. And there's no team that is dying and waiting on LeBron to show up to make their championship hopes a reality. I think that LeBron's a good accent piece now at the point that he's at in his career. You're not looking for LeBron to come in and be the face of whatever this franchise he goes to is going to be.
Right. To your point, if you are, that's bad news.
You're in trouble.
Yeah. I understand the league being like, look, we got a Christmas Day game and a nationally televised schedules to put out, and any team with LeBron gets what? At least 20 more national TV games, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And so there's that part of it, but couldn't you figure it out without, do you have to put all the national TV games this way? I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe there's, to your guys' point, a way around it. I do wonder, though, if LeBron James is feeling the pressure a little bit here of maybe having to make a decision here pretty soon. You do have Rich Paul saying on the podcast, it's like he could be 48 minutes, 48 hours, 48 days away, basically, I'm paraphrasing, from making some kind of decision. But the other part of this is like you got a lot of league business being held up, right? Other roster spots that are open and things like that. And Haize, Rich Paul also said to that, he's like, we're not telling anybody to leave their spots open for us. We're telling everybody, do your business. And when LeBron makes a decision, he'll make a decision. But at the same time, I understand the teams might just be like, well, if we think we have a chance at LeBron, then we're going to go ahead and keep this roster spot open.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Rich Paul makes a great point in that regard, but I mean, ultimately, it comes down to this. LeBron is only choosing from a certain amount of teams, right? Like, the money at this point doesn't matter. So all the things that don't matter on this outweigh what does matter. What does matter is what's giving you the best opportunity to win the championship. It honestly should not be taking this long. I completely understand Adam Silver and the NBA wanting to kind of press this and get this decision made. But at the same time, like, why if you don't have to? Like, if team's going to leave a roster spot open to add LeBron, whatever it is, like, that's going to be a great case. Who's going to say no? If LeBron says he wants to go to your team, team's going to make any way possible that they can get him on their team.
Pat, why do you think it's taking this long?
I think LeBron is moving to his own agenda, right? And he's trying to see, okay, who really wants me? Listen, everybody wants that pat on the back one last time, right? You want that feeling of, hey, you really sat there and waited for me, and you gave me everything that I was looking for, and you made this an easy transition. I'll be honest with you though, like I do wonder if there's a little bit behind the scenes here. Is the conversations with one team in particular, because everybody else it kind of feels like could be done. Our conversations with Miami more about overcoming some past feelings than they are about getting numbers done in this. Maybe LeBron wants to go back. He wants to play with Giannis. He wants to play with Bam. But things didn't end on a perfect note when LeBron left Miami. So I wonder if there's some of that that's playing into this as well, which is leading into this decision. But at the end of the day, like, if you're relying on LeBron to be the thing, like I said earlier, that puts you over the top, you're probably already in a bad situation. I don't think that's the case for Philly. I don't think that that's the case for Cleveland, two teams that were well represented, but it could be the case, and a big difference if your difference in Miami is LeBron James or Russell Westbrook, who we only know they're interested in if LeBron don't come.
Yeah, I guess I see that point as well. I mean, there's not a lot of solid backup plans for if you have your target to set on LeBron at this point. What are you going to do? You going to go Jonathan Kuminga? No, like you still want LeBron.
You just got three dudes that all play the same position. Kuminga, freaking Giannis, and Bam. Figure it out. Somebody's got to pass.
Somebody's got to pass. Like the Miami Heat. Don't get me wrong. Like I would, if LeBron joins that team, they could figure it out because of the balance of offense, defense. LeBron James facilitating does a great job, but I don't think there's any, like, even if you want to go Russell Westbrook for there, he's at this point, or is he the facilitator LeBron is? I don't think so. Like he still needs to get in rhythm scoring wise. Like it's a good backup plan, but it's not the same.
I'm very dubious of this Russell Westbrook stuff. It does not sound like to me the Heat are leaking that they're interested in Russell Westbrook. It almost sounds like the Westbrook people are leaking that they'd be interested in the Miami Heat, but only if LeBron doesn't end up there, because obviously their history is what it is. But maybe that's just also wishful thinking on my part as somebody who's
is this a Russ situation where it's like when you get invited to go be with Rihanna? Like I wasn't actually invited, but I'm letting you know I can't be there if A$AP Rocky's there. Like right. Nobody invited you. Nobody told you were coming to this party.
That's right. It does kind of sound like maybe LeBron doesn't know where he wants to go. And I think you guys make an interesting point. Like what Pat was saying, like there might be some behind the scenes business that needs to be sorted out here, because look, people thought, okay, does he make the announcement late last week during these live events in New York? Does he wait until after the World Cup? Well, we're 36 hours after the end of the world, almost 48 hours after the end of the World Cup here. Still no decision and no real timeline based on some of the reporting around LeBron James and all of this. So, people thought that maybe he was just waiting for this stuff so that things could clear out and he can kind of own the sports calendar for a few days. But if he hasn't made the decision by the end of, I would say today, there's a pretty good chance that he just doesn't know where he wants to go. And you think about all the basketball things, it's out there, right? The teams are what they are. Nothing very much is changing here. He has Rich Paul is saying we have all of the information. No need to call, no need to pitch us anymore. Okay, well then what's the holdup? It sounds like something, Haize, must be going on behind the scenes. We don't need to speculate as to what it is necessarily. But I'll ask you this, Haize, like could anything change that you think could impact his decision? Even, maybe even basketball related things like on the court or any trades, any other signings, anything else that could change that you think could impact LeBron's decision?
The only thing is if Golden State does somehow cash in that Jimmy Butler contract and get a star. I think if the Golden State Warriors are able to land Anthony Davis, I'm pretty sure that LeBron's just going to go to Golden State to play with Steph. Barring that, I don't think there's anything else that you're waiting to happen. It's just LeBron needs to make his decision.
Pat?
Listen, I don't think that we're living in a world where LeBron doesn't know what he wants to do. LeBron knows what he wants to do, probably knows the path for it to get done. He just ain't letting us know. And the reality of it is he don't have to. Like there's not, we don't run on LeBron James. You know what I mean? And so I think with LeBron, like he's probably looking at this going, I don't care if y'all know when I release my decision. I'm going to play basketball this year. That's what you need to know. I'm moving at my pace. You may not like it. You may feel like you're in limbo. I don't care. because I'm LeBron James, and at the end of the day, I'm probably on vacation in Barbados or wherever it is. You know what I mean? Like he's doing his own thing this offseason. He's taking his time, he's weighing his options, but he probably has an inkling of where he wants to go.
On yesterday's show, we talked about whether Zachary Haize is the most disappointing number one pick in recent memory. So I thought today we could do something fun and draft the best and worst number one picks of the last 10 years and see where they all end up. That is coming up next. Today's episode of Locked On NBA Daily is brought to you by Indeed. Workplace chaos can show up fast. The problem is that finding the right candidate can take a lot more time than most businesses can afford. That's where Indeed Sponsored Jobs comes in. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach candidates who actually fit what you're looking for based on skills, experience, and location. Finding the right person can make all the difference, whether it's building a business or building a winning team. The best organizations aren't trying to look at every possible option. They're focused on identifying the people who truly match what they're looking for. When you can spend more time evaluating great candidates and less time searching, everybody benefits. That's exactly what Indeed Sponsored Jobs is designed to help businesses do. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing the candidates who check all of your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on Locked On NBA. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Welcome back to Locked On NBA Daily, the best way to support the show. Subscribe on YouTube. We are Monday to Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, wherever you get your podcasts. We're going to draft the last 10 number one overall picks. This is on the heels of the Atlanta Hawks trading away their number one pick, Zachary Haize, only after a couple of years to the Dallas Mavericks in order to get Lou Dort. We talked about that trade on yesterday's show, and it got me thinking, like, okay, Haize, not a great result for a number one pick, but we've had some really great number one picks over the last few years. So let's go ahead and draft them. So there's three of us here. Haize, I'm gonna let you start us off here. I think the number one pick here is pretty obvious, but we're gonna do the last 10 number one picks dating back to Markelle Fultz in 2017, going all the way through our most recent number one pick, AJ Debinsa by the Wizards. Haize, kick us off.
Wemby, come on now.
Yeah.
You know what fans are about it.
That was easy. No debate, right, Pat?
Was easy. You know what? I know we just found out the Cooper flag grew 2 inches, but I tell you what, I love the tenacity of this player. I'm going with Anthony Edwards here. I mean, like leading his team, the dominance that he's shown throughout, feels like he's going to be one of those guys to be representing either the East or the West in the finals at some point. So I'm going Ant Edwards too.
I was kind of hoping you weren't going to do that, but that makes sense. I'm up next. I am going to take... I like Cooper Flag a lot, but to your point, I need to see it a little bit more. Give me Cade Cunningham. Give me Cade.
Wait, this is a misuse of assets. You should have just let me and Pat do this, because then we would have had a starting five.
And we could have done 5-on-5 in that.
Yeah, but go ahead, Wes.
No, you're right. Let's do it that way, and I'll come in with coaches' challenges and rulings and things like that. So take Cade off the board. I'm gonna lead. We're gonna redo the segment on the fly. But we're not going to do snake draft because that's stupid with two people. So, Haize, you're back up.
Cade's on the board. Actually going to go Cade Cunningham because you need a point guard to keep Wemby involved. I'm going to go Cade here.
You know what? To the point guard point, you're not wrong in this, but a player that I think can do a lot of facilitating and get things done on the court. And I'd actually love at some point to see these two paired up together. Give me a Paolo Banchero in that conversation.
You going Paolo?
I'll go Paolo there because Paolo can do everything, and Anthony Edwards can push the extra little bit that is actually needed that Paolo never has in a playoff series.
Okay.
Paolo as a number two option is very interesting. I don't mind it at all. Haize right now, I love the combo of Cade and Wemby. That's the winning combo so far.
That's a disgusting team right now.
That's a good start for a great team. But let's see where else we go. Haize, you're back up.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go AJ Debinsa here. Actually, I'm gonna go AJ here.
Leaving Cooper Flag on the board for me may prove to be a mistake, but we don't know what either of these guys is going to do. But I'll take the guy that apparently has grown to 6'11", Give me Cooper Flag in this. I don't think that he can guard Wemby, but he dropped 50 at 6'9" last year. Let's see what he can do. That's about to be crazy. Let's see what he can do now that he's taller.
I like Flag on Pat's team quite a bit because that gives you that defensive backbone that I think you need with Ant. Can obviously dial it up there on the perimeter. Banchero, similar type of trick-or-treat defender, but Flag's going to bring it every single night. So, Haize, you're back up.
I mean, heck, why not? I'm going to go Zion Williamson here.
Oof. But are you going to go?
Zion Williamson and porn star.
It's a package deal. You can't have one without the other. It is a package deal. So I got to ask you, are you still in on Zion Williamson?
Still in with Zion.
The way Zion's in on Mariah Mills.
He can come in like the Godfather in WWE with the whole train. Like, he can come in every game with that. It'll be fine.
I love the idea of Wemby just side-eyeing Zion in the locker room, being like, what are you doing? Take this a little bit more seriously, man.
No, he's just looking with judgment. Just,
right.
That? You going with that? That's your bar?
This is where it gets interesting, Pat.
This is where it gets ugly. I'm going to tell you right now because I think this player is an absolute bag of balls, but he is the best available that is still left. At least I believe. You got Zion. Yeah. Give me DeAndre Ayton.
Wow.
He's an absolute bag of balls, but good grief.
It's the only move.
But that's the only move left outside of the two guys still on the roster.
Man.
We know who's left here, Haize.
This is a Sophie's choice right here.
Yeah,
man.
you get Ron or Markel.
I'm leaning Markel Fultz here only because I think the rest of my team is so good that like Markel Fultz averaged 12 points per game as a season, some solid defense at times. I think he can fill in nicely for it, but I can't do it. I'm going Zachary Ruschishare.
Nice swerve at the end. I think you realize he's the only one of these guys not in the league currently, even though it seems like Ruschishare's time might not be much longer. That leaves Markel Fultz for you, Pat.
Oh, that sucks. But
all right,
I mean, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna come in with the final ruling here. So to recap, Haize, you had the number 1 pick, which kind of feel like they gave you a pretty good advantage here.
You think?
You have Victor Wembanyama, Cade Cunningham, AJ DeBansa, Zion Williamson, and Zachary Ruschishere. So I think your starting lineup is, you've got, that is your starting lineup, but you got Cade at the 1, DeBansa at the 2, I guess, Ruschishere at the 3, Zion at the 4, and Wemby at the 5. It's clean enough. Pat,
not a lot
Anthony
of shooting
Edwards
on this team, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would have thought there would be more shooting on that team.
There's not much shooting. Wemby might be the best 3-point shooter.
Wemby's the best shooter on that team
at all. But I'll tell you this: like the way that I look at team building is that you can overcome a lack of shooting if you have defense and good shot creation. I think we have enough for that to where we'll be able to balance it out.
If you look at the board here, the last 10 number 1 picks, the Steph Curry effect is not real because there's only one good 3-point shooter in that entire group, and it's Anthony Edwards. Right?
That's kind of crazy, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what is Cade? What's Cade? Well, what's Cade shooting? Cade's decent.
Yeah, he's a decent 3-point shooter. Yeah, that's definitely not his specialty, though. Pat, your team, Anthony Edwards, Paolo Banchero, Cooper Flag, DeAndre Ayton, and Markel Fultz. So we're looking at a backcourt of Ant and Fultz. You've got Banchero and Flag as your forwards, and then Ayton as your 5. I think it's pretty clear who wins this. Do you want to make a case for why your team can beat Haize's team, Pat?
For me, when I look at you talk about shot creation and things like that, Markel Fultz, you figure out where you're going to be out there because the ball is going to be in Paolo Banchero's hands. I think the creation that Paolo can make, and we've seen him do it on the Magic a ton, paired up with the tenacity and ability to shoot the 3 that Anthony Edwards has, which seems to be the biggest problem that the Magic have right now, right? Every time you pass it out to Desmond Bane, he ain't that guy no more. To me, I think that would create enough spacing on the floor to where you could actually still get some really good driving lanes for a lot of the names that are DeAndre Ayton and Markel Fultz.
Haize, I do like the playmaking of Ant, Banchero, and Flag. Is that a good enough strength there? Do you think that they could challenge your Wemby, Cade, DeBanza, Zion team?
No, because when they all playmaking for each other, somebody has to eventually take the shot.
Well, Cooper Flag is taking shots. Let's not act like, and we know that ball's going up with Ant.
True.
I mean, yeah, you got Ant, right? The Ant shooting becomes such a good swing thing in that if you're talking about like a series or something like that. But come on, man, the star power's here. But we won this one pretty easily.
I mean,
bro.
realistically, your star power is Wemby.
Even if you want to get more physical, we're just bullying you. Wemby and Zion and Bonson, Cade, Cunningham. Come on now.
You saying Wemby's bullying us? The guy that was getting bullied in the finals?
He's bullying
You
DeAndre
don't
Ayton.
have anybody on the team that's going to bully him on your lineup.
Hey, listen, Anthony Edwards is bullying him. It's a very Anthony
yeah,
Come on,
Edwards-centric
bro.
team.
DeAndre Ayton guarding Wemby? That's
that's cookies. That's cookies. But I will say this. I don't think you have a player on your team that can guard Banchero. I don't think you have a player on your team that can guard Ant. That's going to make a big difference.
I think a healthy Zion could guard Banchero.
Yeah, Zion's got to lock in there.
Yeah.
And Cade's a pretty decent defender, but, it definitely helps when you got Wemby cleaning things up there.
We pulling from three. You don't have to come out of that paint.
If you got Banchero pulling from 3, then I win.
Well, no, not Banchero. He's not pulling from 3.
I'm gonna give Haize the slight edge here, but I do think it's closer than people think.
For sure,
I'll say that.
Sure. No, it's closer than people.
We get back into the lab to talk about the Boston Celtics and their revamped starting lineup for next season after this. Today's episode is brought to you by Odoo. Running a business shouldn't feel like you're trying to connect a bunch of systems that were never designed to work together. One app for accounting, another for inventory, another for sales. Somehow none of them talk to each other. That's where Odoo comes in. Odoo is an all-in-one business management software that brings every part of your business together in one powerful platform. From sales and accounting to inventory and marketing, everything works in one place, helping your team move faster, stay organized, and focus on growing the business instead of managing software. The best organizations know that success isn't just about talent. It's about having everybody working toward the same goal. And that's true in sports just like it is in business. Back when I worked in a sales office, the thing that brought us down was a lack of communication and not going in the same direction. Our biggest problem came when inventory, sales, and customers were on the wrong page. And just like in sports, organizations are successful when everyone's aligned. Great organizations win because operations matter. And that's why you should get Odoo. Try for free today at odoo.com/lockedon. That's odoo.com/lockedon. Welcome back, and thanks for making Locked On NBA Daily part of your daily routine and making the Locked On Podcast Network your first listen every day. Stay tuned throughout the offseason as we cover the biggest stories. This is the Rotation Lab. We've been doing this for a couple of weeks now. The premise is that we take one team and we force you guys to build its real opening night rotation, and then the rest, including the starting lineup, and then the rest of the rotation. We're going to get through as many of these teams as we can over the next few weeks. Today, we're doing the Boston Celtics. Pat, you were tasked with building the starting lineup, and Haize, you are going to build out the rest of the rotation and the bench. But Pat, we'll start with Boston's starting 5. What do you got?
I'm not leaving you much, dog. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think you listen. The belief apparently in Peyton Pritchard is that there could be a Jalen Brunson type leap. I guess just like with Jalen Brunson, I got to see it to believe it, but I would assume that means he's going to get a ton of opportunity. Give me Pritchard and Derek White as your backcourt. I think that that's going to be an incredibly small backcourt, but we know Derek White as a defender can be very aggressive, and as far as the facilitating goes, right, I think he could create some good opportunities for you. I would assume the fact that you traded for him, Paul George is going to enter that starting lineup, as well as Jason Tatum. Seeing those two play off of each other, going to be interesting, although I think PG could probably operate a little bit more in the mid-range if that's something that they allow. And the center position is tough because you got a couple of names that you could go with here. I would assume you're going Mitchell Robinson, just because I would think guys like Luke Garza and Queta, you probably are like, well, we don't pay you as much, so you sit over there. So I would assume Mitchell Robinson is coming in as your 5, and it's not a bad starting 5. I think it's going to be interesting in the East, and it's just going to be, for the first time in his career, hey, Tatum, it's your show. Figure it out, baby.
I mean, nice starting lineup. I probably would have gone Queta over Mitchell Robinson for starters.
Definitely
so I definitely think he's going to be playing. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interchangeable in that regard. So I think Queta, of course, is going to be your big off the bench. Man, it better be Hugo Gonzalez, for as much as they didn't want to include him in a potential trade for Giannis. So Hugo Gonzalez better be ready, my boy. You better be ready to step on up. Haize, who averaged, 9 points per game as well last season. And then it's easy to go Luke Garza here, but I don't know. I was very impressed with Christian Nick Jr.'s summer league. You got to see what he actually does. But I think as versatility from a big man position that can score, pass, dribble like a guard, I would not be surprised if by the end of the season Sinek Jr. is getting a lot of those minutes at the backup four.
And then we've got in the backup backcourt Conley, who they signed, Shireman. There's, to your point, Haize, it kind of feels like a lot of this is hinging on Hugo Gonzalez being a real dude.
Yeah.
Or Shireman, I guess. One of those young guys really kind of stepping up and becoming a guy, because, you know, Hauser's a good player. He's not a play starter. He's a play finisher, right? Like, that's a guy who's going to spot up from three and convert. The centers are, you know, pretty traditional in that sense. Mike Conley, I guess, at this stage of his career, you're not going to ask him to score, but he can bring the ball up and set the table a little bit. So you really need one of Shireman or Hugo Gonzalez to step up and be basically a sixth-man type scorer guy, right?
Yeah, you have to.
It's such an interesting looking roster this upcoming season, because it truly feels like these are two of the biggest swings that we've seen Brad Stevens take since he's been the GM of this team, because you're putting a lot of pressure on, hey, Peyton Pritchard is Jalen Brunson and Hugo Gonzalez is so good we couldn't include him in a deal for one of the greatest players to ever be on a basketball court, or most dominant players to ever be on a basketball court, if you want to put it that way. Like, this might be the biggest swings we have seen Brad Stevens take, and it could be, you know, it could backfire on you very quickly, because the pieces you let go and the pieces that you didn't bring in. You move on from Jaylen Brown and you let Giannis walk. All right. Like, you took back some interesting deals for Jaylen Brown.
That's why I feel like that. Like, I feel like they're gonna have to make a big swing move at the trade deadline, and maybe that's just me being hopeful. But like, I would not be surprised to see Paul George and those second-round picks on the move by the trade deadline.
They're coming to the Bulls, aren't they?
No, the first-round picks. We only get second-round picks. We only get second-round picks.
Oh, AK's gone. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
To both of your point, like, they are making some big bets on a lot of guys, right? You're betting on Paul George staying healthy and not kind of falling off the age cliff here.
Yeah.
You're betting on Peyton Pritchard taking a major leap here. You're betting on Shireman and Gonzalez taking leaps this season as young guys, like, you know, closer. You need them to do that sooner rather than later. You're betting on Mitchell Robinson, your big free agent acquisition, staying healthy. He was healthy-ish last year, but that's really it. This is not a guy who plays a whole lot over the last half decade. It's a lot of bets, right? Not even to mention Tatum coming off of that weird kind of, is he healthy, is he not, at the end of the playoffs type of thing. Derek White is quietly getting older, right? He's, I think, 32, 33 years old. Haize, when you look at this, now that we've kind of laid it out on paper and talked about the rotation a little bit, where do you have Boston when you think about, you know, the tier that they're in the Eastern Conference?
That's a great question. Me and Pat were actually talking the other day about how deep the Eastern Conference has gotten quietly overnight. Like, so the Knicks at the top, the Pistons, I think are going to be, as far as record-wise, towards the top there. I still have the Cleveland Cavaliers probably above the Boston Celtics. I think they have more natural balance on that team. And then I guess I put the Celtics right around where the Raptors and the Hawks are for me. They're all in that same area. I don't know how to place the Philadelphia 76ers yet, because I just haven't seen how they're going to balance all of that. They can go in that first tier, be in that second tier too, but I have the Boston Celtics in that second tier in the East right now.
I still got them first tier. I'm not going to lie to you. Boston, to me, is a team that, you know, every time we sit there and go, well, that's it. It's finally coming crashing down. It's all over. They find a way, due to the phenomenal coaching staff that they have and just being a good organization, to still be in that top tier. Do I think they fall a little bit? Sure. Maybe around 3 or 4, but I still think they're one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. An Eastern Conference that got a heck of a lot tougher. I think that Philly moves up in that conversation. I'll be honest with you. I actually think Orlando goes down. I know all the changes and things that happen there, but like, at a certain point, we all can see that team doesn't really fit together. So I don't think that they get better. And I think you're talking about the Pacers reinserting themselves back into that conversation, as well as the Heat. But still, I would take Boston over most of those rosters dang near any day, just because you know the kind of player that Jason Tatum can be. I know all the stigmas around him and all the shots that he takes every day on social media, but Jason Tatum's a dang good basketball player.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is tough for me. First of all, we don't even know if Kawhi Leonard is going to be playing for the Raptors. So
that is true.
Sort of like this whole thing over here.
Thought you were leaving America, didn't you?
Not so fast. I've got the Knicks as the number one out of respect. You've got to put them in a tier by themselves, I think. After that, I think Indiana is going to get back into this mix with Detroit. To me, I got those two teams as a tier right under the Knicks. And then I have like this big third tier that's all the teams that we're talking about: Cleveland, Miami, Boston, Philly, maybe Toronto, depending on what happens there. And then after that, I like Atlanta a lot, but they don't have a ton of like upside with the roster unless Jalen Johnson has this big emergence. Then could a team like Orlando climb back up and some of those other teams. But yeah, I think to me, Boston is in a tier below some of like the very top teams just because of how much they're betting on health. Makes me a little nervous.
Yeah.
But I, to your point, like, you know what? They overcame that stuff last year and that stuff didn't very much matter. So maybe that'll be the case again this year. All right, that is going to do it for today's Rotation Lab and today's show. If you like what you heard today, subscribe to Locked On NBA Daily wherever you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. Thanks to the Bulls boys for joining the show today, Pat and Haize. You can make sure to check them both out over at Locked On Bulls as well. Thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network your first listen. We'll see you back here tomorrow for more Locked On NBA Daily.